The Dakota County Sheriff will be the first in the state to begin collecting DNA swabs from those suspected of a violent crime.
A recent Supreme Court ruling is being cited for giving the green light to that practice even before a person is convicted. Bill Hudson's been following this. He's in the newsroom to explain how it will work. Certainly different, Bill.
And controversial, Frank. It's already being used on those who are convicted of violent crimes prior to them going to prison. However, a challenge to DNA collection prior to being found guilty of a crime put this practice on hold for the past 10 years. When a suspected criminal is booked into the Dakota County Jail, they are fingerprinted and photographed. But in a few weeks, they can expect to have a cheek swab taken to gather their DNA.
And if there's no conviction, the DNA is removed from the database.
Sheriff Tim Leslie says constituents demand a tougher crackdown on criminals, and using DNA to solve crimes is one way to do it.
This is just one more tool in our toolbox that the legislature gave us access to that isn't being used, so we're going to try to use it.
The state legislature allowed the practice under a 2005 law. That was quickly overturned by the state appeals court as unlawful search and seizure. But when a similar Maryland law was ruled constitutional by the Supreme Court, County Attorney Jim Backstrom decided it was time to act.
The U.S. Supreme Court upheld this practice and said it was not an intrusion in terms of that was not unconstitutional, and it could be collected just like fingerprints can be collected from someone when they're arrested.
The Civil Liberties Union says the practice is ignoring states' rights and will likely be tested.
And our system is that you are innocent until proven guilty. That's why we don't allow fishing expeditions. That's why we don't allow a lot of other tactics that would make perfectly good sense.
Now, other counties are watching this closely and anticipate beginning a practice of their own of collecting DNA prior to a conviction. Again, if those charges are later dropped or a person's found not guilty, any collected DNA will have to be erased from law enforcement databases. Frank, don't rule out any future challenges of this as well.
Sure. Well, we'll keep following it.
We will.
All right. Thanks, Bill.